Now, let me ask y'all a question. Have y'all heard about this story right here? This story coming from a content creator named Kobe. Now, supposedly, Kobe started $1 million company. And that was it $1 million in the beginning? No, but he had a lot of potential, right? And he was excited about having such potential and such growth in his sales that he started to talk to his friends and the people around him. Well, Kobe met somebody that eventually took over his whole business right up under his nose. Now, before we get into this story, this is Kobe. Now, this is important to know because you're going to want to follow him down the road. So make sure y'all screenshot this part and take notes of this and go follow him because you're going to want to when you hear that whole video. Now, I must say, this is a pretty long story time, so you're going to have to save this for later. Whatever you got to do, watch it when you have time. Just like it and watch it later if you have to. But you're going to want to watch this, I promise you, because it's a lot of good gems in this, and we all can learn from this. I learned so much, and we're going to wrap it up at the end. But let's get into the story time. Enough of me yapping.
At 15 years old, I started a business out of my mom's garage. At 22 years old, I built that business into $1 million business. And at 23 years old, I lost everything to a 45-year-old white man who I made the mistake of calling my business partner. For the sake of this story, we're going to call him Believe. Believe has bullied me into silence for the past 2 years, but recently I have received legal clearance to share my story anywhere I want to share my story under these restrictions. I can't say the name of the business. Now, you all are smart. A lot of you have seen me before because I was the face of said business. I'm sure you can put two and two together and we'll be on the same page here. This is the introduction to a series I'm calling Surviving Believe. I'm going to be taking you guys from the very beginning to the very ending so that you all know what really happened. I also will be sharing this story as transparently and authentically as I can. As you hear my story, I'm sure you will recognize that there are a lot of mistakes that I made and a lot of red flags that I ignored. However, I am committing to sharing them transparently because it was from those mistakes that I learned so much. And if I can teach you something from my mistakes so that you don't have to make the same mistakes, mission accomplished. Be sure to follow me and come back for part 1 of Surviving Believe. Surviving Believe part 1. So little old me at 15 years old decides I want to start a business. Growing up, I saw so many business owners in my family. I think it just runs in the Lomax blood. My dad and my mom ran a successful company for a little while. My grandpa ran a successful company back in the day. My aunt runs several successful companies to this day. And so I just saw that in my family and it just kind of felt like a no-brainer for me. Like, yep, eventually this is what you do. You start businesses. Like, that's just, that's what I saw. So I just knew I was going to do it. But at 15, I was like, what am I waiting for? Like, I know this is what I want to do. Why don't I just get started now? So I started looking up business ideas for teenagers, business ideas for high school students, because I'm trying to figure out what can I actually do. And I came across this one industry that I was really excited about. And so I went to my parents and I was like, hey, mom, dad, I want to start a business. And my mom was like, oh, Lord, what else is this we're going to get into? But my dad was really excited about it. And so he told me that if I put together a business plan, he would give me the money I needed. So I put together my own business plan. I pitched it to my parents. And just like that, my dad gave me $200 to start my business. So boom, now I'm in business, right? The package comes to the house and now I'm experimenting. I'm making products. I'm signing up for all the little craft shows at my high school and selling my little products at school. And like, it was just so fun. Like, to be back in that era was just, I was having a blast and I just felt so proud of myself. I felt like I was living up to my Lomax name. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the business was really ran like a hobby. Like, it was just something I did on the side when I had time, and it was just really fun and I enjoyed it so much. And then in 2020, that was the year where I was like, okay, I'm going to take this serious and like try to actually build a business. If I keep treating this like a hobby, it's going to be a hobby. I have to start treating it like a business if I want it to be a business. So 2020 comes around and I'm in college and I was working as an assistant at the Entrepreneurial Center at my college, and COVID happened and they were like, sorry guys, we don't have a budget for you guys anymore. And so I was like, okay, I'm taking this as my opportunity to really focus on my business. Like, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. Put my mind to it and make it happen. And so for all of 2020, I just worked so hard every day, day in, day out. Like, my mom always talks about this period of my life because she was like, you were just so focused. Like, every day you down in that garage making those products and doing research on how to do this, up at 4 a.m. watching YouTube videos on how to market your product and how to, like, my mom was like, you were just so in the zone, and that's really how it was all 2020, right? I was like, I am building a business. I am making this thing legit. I am making this thing official. I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to commit and make this happen. Dad always told me, whatever you put your mind to and you really want it and you really work hard for it, you can have it. And so sure enough, like, That's what I did all 2020. I just focused on the business, and school because I was still in college. So when 2020 passes by, and I'm just so proud of myself and how far I've come with the business. I don't have any crazy results at this point, but I just really applied myself and focused and like put in work every single day. And I was just so proud of that. Now we get to 2021. So 2021 rolls around, right? And I'm just like, I know this gotta be my year. Like, I know something's about to pop off for me. Something's about to pop off for me. And I would repeat that every single day. When I would walk my dog, I would say, something's about to blow up for me. I just know it. I just know it. Something's about to pop off. And I didn't know what it was going to be. I honestly thought it was going to be my YouTube channel because I have a YouTube channel all about curly hair. I'm starting to do more lifestyle content and vlogs and stuff like that, especially with my move now coming up. I thought my YouTube channel was going to blow up, but I was like, I'm open to whatever it is. I just know this is my year. Like, I have been working so hard and I just have full faith that something is about to pop off. And sure enough, I think it was January 25th to be exact, 2021. I randomly was just like, let me get on TikTok. I posted 3 videos on TikTok, went to sleep that night, and literally the rest was history. I think I'm gonna end part 1 right here. Come back for part 2. We're really about to dive into month after month exactly what happened from this point on. It's about to get crazy real quick. Part 2 is also going to be where Believe comes into the story. I do work 2 jobs, y'all, so please bear with me. But I just got off work. Let's get into Survive and Believe, part 2. 2021 comes around, and I get the idea to get on TikTok. I post 3 TikToks on January 25th, 2021. Go to sleep, and the next morning I wake up to one of my videos having 3,000 views, and I made $300 in sales. And then over the rest of that day, I made $3,000 in sales, and my page went from literally 0 to 12,000 followers. And I was like, whoa, what is going on? Like, what is happening? So my friend Liv from DBL Jewelry told me to keep posting 3 TikToks every single day. So I just posted 3 videos the next day, and the next day, the page was at 32,000 followers, and I made $8,000 in that one day. At this point, I was like, I don't even know if I can make this many candles, so I'm putting everything sold out, and I'm going to figure out what the heck am I doing. Now remember, back in 2020 was the year that I was like, I'm taking this business serious. So I have been working on it and working on it and working on it and slowly growing it. And I got to a point where I was like, I want to have my own office. So I went to this co-working space called Gather, and I rented an office there. Now, clearly, I'm 21 years old at the time in this co-working space where like people are running businesses out of these offices in this building. I was the youngest person there. And a lot of people there really treated me like a little brother and like gave me advice. And like literally to this day, those are some of the same people that I go back to when I'm going through anything in business or in life. And they just always give me like such great nuggets of wisdom and advice from their experience. Because, you know, they're like 10 steps ahead of me. And so the business is going crazy right now. I just made $12,000 in 2 days. That's what I made all of 2020, like for the whole year. And I just made that in 2 days. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? And I had a really good childhood growing up. I didn't experience anything like bad or traumatic. You know, I think my parents growing up in the city, I think it made them make sure that we didn't have to grow up like they did. But with that, me being completely fucking clueless that people will take advantage of you. And I also have heard that like money changes people and all this kind of stuff, but I never experienced it, so I just really didn't believe it. So I'm sitting there telling everybody all my business. Everybody at that office knew exactly what was going on, how much money I was making, how many followers I had, how many views I was getting. They knew everything because I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Please help me. You got any advice or what should I do? What should I do? Right? And most of the people were so happy for me, were so excited for me, and genuinely shared so much good wisdom with me at that time. However, there was this one guy who was extremely helpful. Like, extremely helpful. I'm talking checking on me every single day, asking how's the business doing every single day, coming to knock on my door at my office every day to ask me how's the business going. I mean, like, very helpful. And my naive little self is thinking, this guy is so nice. Like, he helps me out every day. Like, he helps me every day. He comes to check on me every day. Like, he is so nice. And he's paying himself to be this successful businessman. And I have all this free time because I just sold a company for $7 million and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wow, like, I'm so grateful.
Oh,
like, this guy is really nice. Like, he's helping me out so much.
Oh, man.
I'm sure y'all know at this point that this is Believe I'm talking about.
Man.
So now I'm whipping up products like crazy, like all day long for days. I'm whipping up these products and sending these products out and whatnot. And finally I got through all those orders and I was like, okay, now I need to figure out what I'm doing. And so I went to a lot of these people in my office to get advice. Like, what would your next step be if you were in my position, right? So one day, Believe and I are having a conversation and he goes, how many products do you realistically think you can make in a month? And I was like, probably like 1,000. And he goes, I would put 1,000 products up for pre-order. You know, do your marketing. You're good at that. And see what happens. I think you could sell through them. Like, I really think you could. And I'm like, well, damn. If I buy supplies for 1,000 kids, I'm spending half of the money I just made. And I'm a little nervous about that. Like, literally half of it, out the door for more inventory. Will I sell it all? I don't know. And Believe's like, well, you really got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself. And then Believe goes, well, I believe in you. So I'll lend you the money right now. And you just pay me back. No strings attached. No nothing. I'll buy the supplies. And when you sell through it, you just pay me back. I believe in you. And I really think you just have to believe in yourself. Right? I'm sure y'all see where this is going. Sure enough, we do a handshake deal. Believe order my supplies. Supplies show up. I put pre-orders out on February 1st, 2021. $15,000 on the first day. Like in a couple hours. And
Wow.
I'm like, whoa. Like, this is crazy.
This is cool.
Then throughout the duration of February, the business hit $35,000 for the end of the month for February. A very successful month.
Wow.
Now, Believe have some money in the game, right? So now Believe is very invested. I'm talking Believe is coming multiple times a day and check on me, how the business going, whatever the case may be. As soon as I made enough, I paid Believe back immediately, right? But he's still checking up on me. How's it going? How's it going? What's it looking like? What's it doing? What's the numbers today? What's the numbers today? Wow, this is so great. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, you're such a bright young man. Feeding me, filling me up with, oh, you are such a bright young man. Like, I'm so proud of you. Most kids your age are not doing this. Most kids your age are not in here. I see you in here every day, working long hours, late nights. Like, I'm so proud of you.
Saw the business
Believe
potential.
was filling me up with compliments. And my naive little self is like, he is so nice. Like, what did I do to deserve such a nice person? End of February comes around and Believe is like, all right, I'm about to go start another business, or I got other things that I want to go work on, so I'm not going to be able to keep helping you the way I have been helping you. And at that point, y'all, honestly, I started to feel scared because I'm like, you literally feel like a safety net. Like, you seemed so experienced, and then you gave me some advice and it worked. You were willing to put money behind it. I was just like, I don't know if I can do this by myself. Like, what if I mess it all up? You know, that was like a big limiting belief that I had. What if I mess this all up? Because I truly felt lucky, even though like my mom consistently reminds me every day to this day, like, you put in the work. You were working on this business for the past 7 years and it finally worked. Like, this is not no accident. Like, Kobe, this is not an accident. It's not a mistake. You didn't get lucky. You put in the work. But I didn't see that at the time. I was just like, what if I mess this all up? And he literally felt like a safety net. Like, literally, that's the best way I can describe it. I just felt like, well, if you're here, I can't mess this up because you know what you're doing. You can help me. So I say, well, what can I do to get you to stay? So he goes, all right, well, let me think about it. Comes back to me the next day with a proposal, a deal proposal. And I'm about to get cut off, so I'm going to edit this up, post it, and then I'm going to record the next one. Survive and Believe Part 3. So he's like, all right, here's my proposal. I want 50% of the company. I don't need to take a salary at all. I just want my equity, which is a red flag, y'all. But we'll get there. I want 50% of the company. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and help you get systems and processes set up to run and sustain the business. And then from there, I'll step back and be more of an advisor or like a mentor. And so we'll meet up like once a week and go over the goals for the business and just making sure that things are moving forward in the right direction, right? And so he's like, how does that sound? And I'm like, sounds good. Like, you're going to come here. You're going to make sure that I know what I need to know and do what I need to do and keep this thing moving forward. And, you know, I trust you. So you believe in me. You've shown me like that you really believe in me. So let's do it. So we did a handshake deal. Nothing was signed at this point, but we just did a handshake deal, and it was like, all right, let's do this. So boom, now we're business partners. Not officially, but we understand once we get the paperwork done and we sign it, it'll be official. But for now, we're acting like it's official. So we're working, and one thing I would not take from him, he works very hard. So we're moving and shaking, getting things done left and right. He's showing me how to set up this and how to set up that. And I'm like really soaking all of this up, like in the beginning stages, right? So we're working, moving and shaking, getting things done, right? And then in conversation, he'll just lightly throw in there, yeah, so when I get my 20%, we get the paperwork done, then we can keep it moving. The original deal was 15%. But again, at the time, being so young and naive, and like again, he just felt like a safety net. And I'm like, well, we're already in this now. Like we already been doing all of this. You've shown me so many things already about how to do this and how to do that and how to get all of this stuff set up. And then I started telling myself, all right, well, I can have 85% of a grape, or I can have 80% of a watermelon, and 80% of a watermelon is more than 85% of a grape. Now I want 100% of anything I do. But lessons have been learned, Yeah, so he'll just casually throw in there like, yeah, once I get my 20%. And then later on, he would casually throw in once I get my 25%. And it's just like, what? Like, I'm sorry. We said 15. By the time the final paperwork was done, it said 25%. And I signed it because, again, I was just so afraid of what if I mess all of this up. And like having that amount of explosive success at a time where I was like so young, I've never seen this much money in my life. Like I just felt so unsure or unstable in my ability to be able to make it happen. But one lesson that I did learn from all this is when you are blessed with an opportunity, it is for you. You wouldn't be blessed with it if it wasn't yours. So it's the end of February. We signed the final paperwork. Boom. Now we're 2575. So now we're in March of 2021, and this is the first time in the business where I get to strictly focus on the creative. Leave took care of all the logistics, which allowed me to spend all of my time on the creative, on the marketing, my zone of genius, literally what I love to do. And so in March, I wanted to launch a new product. I'm just going to say a new product. So I planned out the whole campaign and I turned my hair orange and I really took it there with the content, hired a photographer, and like, it was the most fun, fulfilling. I'm like, this is why I'm in business. This is why I am in business. This is like creative fulfillment for me. Like this is so much more than $1, And I was so happy, and then launched the product, and in 5 days made $70,000. $70,000 in
Wow.
5 days when I got to just step into my creative genius and focus on the creative. Now, it was a massive mistake for me to just trust him with everything else. I'm like, woo, I don't have to worry about the money anymore. I don't have to worry about the logistics anymore. I don't have to worry about any of that anymore. I can just be creative. As a businessman, you need to understand what's going on in every element of your business. Every part of your business, you need to at least know what's going on.
Heard.
Lessons have been learned. I didn't know that at the time. I know that very well now. So March, major success. April, major success. May, this is when I started to realize that this was all about money for him. And this is when things started to shift a little bit, when I started to get a little bothered. May comes around and we have this Mother's Day launch coming up. And nothing was ready for the Mother's Day launch on time. We didn't have product. We didn't have supplies. We didn't have anything. And I felt like we should not do this right now. Like, we don't have the stuff. And he goes, well, we have to launch a new product every other week. Like, we have to keep the money coming and we have to keep the momentum rolling. And this is when it was like, oh, this is literally all about the money for you. Like this, that's why you're here. Which now I know business is business. A lot of time you're dealing with somebody else in business. Typically that's what they're there for, right? But it just threw me off guard because I thought you were here because you supported me and because you were so proud of me and that you loved the opportunity to work with me, because these are all things you said. But your actions are showing something completely different. And I believed everything you said. And that was one of my biggest mistakes. But anywho, he's so sold on we're launching this product. I don't care if we have product or not. And I'm just like, that's not, I don't know. That just doesn't feel right for me. Y'all, we literally launched that product with a picture of the label because I couldn't take a picture of the product. We didn't have a product. All we had is a sticker. I took a picture of the sticker, said out now. People ordering a product we don't have. And when I tell you, everything in me was like, this is not right. Like, this is not it. But at that time, like, I was kind of scared to speak up for myself. I was a little bit scared of him. Like, I had this thing where I didn't want to ruffle anybody's feathers, and like, I didn't want to make anybody upset with me. So I would just shut up. I just wouldn't say anything. Now, now I'm going to say whatever I need to say, But I've grown a lot over the past 3 years. So we launched the products, they tank, they do horrible, right? And then we just keep going on with business as usual. So now, guys, remember, he was supposed to be coming in, setting up processes, and then dipping out. But what was happening was every time we set up a process and we hire 4 people, now the business just doubled the next month. And now we need 2 more people, and we need another machine, and we need another this, and we need another that. We need a bigger space. And now the systems have to be redone all over again. And it was a consistent cycle of that from February up until July. Now, July was the month that he used this point that I just said to ask for more. It's about to cut me off, but I'm going to continue on the next one. Survive and Believe, Part 4. So months have gone by now. The business just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger month after month besides May. And we keep having to hire new people and get a bigger space and redo the systems and processes that he put into place. And so he happened to be working a lot more than I guess he originally intended to. And so he comes to me in July. He sets up a morning coffee meeting. So we meet up at the coffee shop this one morning in July. And he's like, hey, look, like, I wasn't supposed to be here full time like I am right now. Like, we were supposed to get systems and stuff set up in place. And then I was supposed to step back and take more of an advisory role. He was like, however, obviously the business keeps growing and we just have to do what we have to do. But I have grown a liking to running this business with you. And so if you want to continue with me being here full time, I'm not opposed to that. I do have other projects and things that I want to work on and get started, but I also don't mind staying here if you want me to do that, but I'm going to need more. So his proposal was he wanted 50% of the business. And at this point, my intuition was like, whoa, Kobe, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. Do not make a decision right now. Because I'm sitting here like, okay, 80% of the watermelon, but 50? That just seems like a lot. Like, I need to talk to some people first. And then I was also feeling a little bit weird about it because I'm like, it's only been 5 months that we've been working together. Now you're asking for half of the business. What, another 5 months go by and you're going to ask for 75%? Like, I don't know. I was just like, I just need to talk to some people. And a lot of you guys have been wondering, like, why didn't I talk to my family of successful business owners about a lot of these decisions? The thing is, I did. I talked to my parents, but I wasn't necessarily taking their advice all the time. All of the business owners in my family don't really know much about social media at all. Like, some of them don't even have social media. And so I was discrediting the fact that, like, business is business, period. Whether they know social media or not, there are things that you can learn from them, right? I was just like, oh, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't understand this world. Like, this whole social media world, it's just different and blah, 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 right? Definitely was talking to them about certain things, but I definitely discredited the fact that, like, business is business and they know business. No matter what business it is, there are certain things and principles that they understood that I needed to understand. Right? And then also, too, when talking to my parents about a lot of these decisions, my parents would give me advice. They gave me a ton of advice, If I would have taken my parents' advice, especially my dad's advice, a lot of things that went down wouldn't have went down. But I was like, no, Dad, you don't understand. Like, he works so hard and he does all this and he's so nice to me and, like, he really cares about me. And, like, I'm literally trying to convince my dad knows. My dad is the most intuitive person I know on this planet. My dad knows. And I'm trying to convince him why Believe is a good person and he's done nothing but help me and he's been great. Y'all, I was manipulated, like, real bad. So back to this 50-50 proposal. He proposed that and I was like, whoa, hold on. I got to talk to some people. So I talked to my parents. I talked to other mentors that I've had throughout the years and business professionals and leaders and their networks. And everybody across the board said, don't go 50. Everybody said, don't go 50. And so my dad was like, well, if he wants more, why don't you just pay him what he wants? Y'all, this is the golden piece of advice that I will take with me the rest of my career. Just pay the people what they want to be paid. You do not have to give up equity. But yeah, my dad was like, well, he wants more, and he's not taking no
Good
pay right now.
advice.
People should be compensated for their work. And if he's doing more work than what y'all originally had agreed upon, then fair. Just pay him. Don't give him no more equity. He already has too much. So then one day at work, I go to Believe and I'm like, hey, Believe, what do you think about if we just pay you a salary? Like whatever you feel like you're worth, let's just pay you instead of doing more equity. Believe goes, oh, we're not going to be able to pay me what I'm worth. Mind you, we're making close to $200,000 a month every month. But he's like, but hey, whatever you decide is totally fine with me. I joined this business because I support you and I believe in you. And I think you're a bright kid and you have a really bright future ahead of you. And I'm glad to have even been a part of it. And whatever you decide to do, like, I support you. I'm still going to be cheering you on. I'm still here in your corner if you need advice or anything like that. I'm just not going to be full time like I was. And so I'm like, okay. And then the other half of that was like, I just kept remembering like him saying he had other projects and things that he wanted to do. And I'm in the back of my mind, maybe being overly considerate, but I'm like, well, I don't want to stop you from other projects that you want to go work on if you want to go work on them. Like, I don't want to be the reason, little old me, I don't want to be the reason why you didn't go start that other business that you wanted to do or do these other projects that you keep bringing up that you want to do. So I ended up making a decision. So we have a meeting at the coffee shop again. And he's like, yeah, so did you make a decision, like what you want to do? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready to transition you out of a full-time role. You can go work on the other projects and things that you want to go do. And I'll take over from here. The first words that come out of his mouth is, you're going to burn your business to the ground. You see, the problem is I built you this monster that you're not going to be able to maintain. That was the first sentence out of his mouth. Yeah, true colors. Oh boy. Now, I'm shocked. Not even my mother talks to me like this. I'm like, whoa. First off, I'm confused. Where is this anger coming from? You said you didn't care which one I chose. You got other projects and stuff that you want to go work on. So you support me anyway. Like
He was
whatever I choose
lying.
is fine. You still support me. Now you're blowing up on me because I don't want to give you 50% of my business when we only been working together for 5 months. And you already have 10% more than you were supposed to get. I'm so confused. Like when I tell y'all, I literally didn't, I just like, was like, whoa, what is going on? Like he's going off on me, going off. And I'm just sitting there like, what is happening? And then he goes, okay, let's see how long you last. And since you want to be the boss now, here's a list of things I was going to get done today. And then writes out this long list of stuff that he needed to do today. And I'm like, okay. Then he texts our warehouse manager and he's like, from now on, you report to Kobe. And so the warehouse manager sends me this text talking about, hey, I guess I'm supposed to send this to you now, because he was sending reports every day. I guess I'm supposed to send this to you now. So here's what we need. Here's what we're running out of. And I'm just like, oh boy, here we go. Like, what did I just do? Like, I don't even know, like, what is happening. I'm confused. Like, I just wanted to make products in my mom's garage, and now what is going on? All right, he's about to stop me, so I'm going to go to the next part. Actually, I might take a little nap real quick. I'm not even going to lie, because it's 11:40 p.m., and I got work at 4 a.m. Part 5, Survive and Believe. So he just went off, gave me this long list of things that he was planning on doing today, and then that was the end of the conversation. We got up and left, and I went to the warehouse. Now, at this point, I'm like, okay, what the is happening? Like, I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. I don't know how we're moving forward. Like, we can't sit down and have a conversation about it because you get emotional and explosive. He's also a Cancer, might I add. And so I'm like, okay, well, I don't even know where to start because I literally blindly just trusted him with everything else and while I just focused on the creative. So now I'm like, all right, well, I guess I need to figure out all these elements that I didn't have to worry about before. So my game plan was get in there, figure out the money, and get access to the bank account because I didn't have access to the bank account. No, it sounds nuts. Like, why would you not have access to the bank account? But I never in my life experienced somebody do anything like this. So I just trusted everyone. All I really saw was how much money we were making because that was my job, to make us the money. I was like, okay, well, I guess I need to figure out the bank account stuff first. So I'm going his desk, and I go in his desk because he kept the business card of all the businesses that we used to do business with in his desk. And so I go in there because I'm trying to find the bank's business card so that I can call them and figure out how can I get into this account. Because now I don't know what he's doing, but I'm in this alone, it seems like. So I'm in his desk, and then he walks in. That was the most awkward encounter of my life. And so he's like, and I'm like, I guess I need to figure out the bank stuff now if you're not going to be here anymore. And then he doesn't say anything. So I just kind of awkwardly step away from his desk and like sit down at my desk. And our desks were in the same office. So like if my desk was right there, his desk was right here. Like that's how it was. So it was really awkward. And then he just came, grabbed something, and then left, right? So now I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should just go downstairs and ask our warehouse manager, like, hey, can you just fill me in on everything? Because I have no idea what's going on down here. But then before I can even do that, he comes back upstairs and he comes in the room and he goes, you know, I just feel like I've been taken advantage of. You've been taken advantage of? Well, hold on, y'all. Let me finish. He goes, I just feel like I've been taken advantage of. I've been in here working every day, and you've been at home and have me in here working like your little slave. Oh, that's giving projecting. Like you see me as your little slave. How dare you? But for anyone who's creative, you understand that it's a lot of work to create and to consistently create. And especially when we're launching a new product every 2 weeks because we got to keep the money rolling and we got to keep the money rolling and we got to keep the momentum going. And now I'm literally creatively burning myself to the end. God forbid I get sick, now I'm behind. I'm having to plan out the campaign, shoot the content, edit the content, buy my own props, set up my own sets if that was necessary. We only paid for that March launch for a photographer. Every single other launch from start to finish, from concept to the actual content to the release and how everything was released, that was all me. Every other week, it was a new product, a new product, a new product. And so I'm working on the new product the week before because it comes out next week. And I don't have much time because after that, we got another one coming out the week after that. And so I literally was working so hard, you know? He didn't respect creative work. A lot of times I get good ideas when I walk. So I would go outside and like walk all around the outside of the warehouse. And he's like, you're sitting here walking around and I'm here working hard. He always felt like he was working harder than me. You don't understand or respect creative work. This is a lot. Like by the end of the day, every day, I was like drained. You know? So he's all, I feel taken advantage of, and you got me in here like your little slave while you're walking around and at home. I'm not coming into the warehouse till later in the day. Yeah, because I'm at home coming up with ideas. I'm at home talking to myself, conceptualizing these ideas. And if I was in here talking to myself, conceptualizing these ideas, y'all would think I'm crazy. And I know this because when we decided to rent the rest of the office suites up on the top level of our warehouse, Believe said, yeah, you finally got your office now. I know you like to talk to yourself, so like you can do that in there. Believe, you just don't get it. But that's why you think you're working so much harder than me. When I'm creating a campaign from start to finish, from concept to post, that's garnering $70,000 in 8 hours, $40,000 in 8 hours, $50,000 in 8 hours, every 2 weeks.
Yeah, you got greedy.
So again, Believe's like, you got me here working like your slave while you're walking around and at home, coming into the office later in the day. I'm here every day at 8 o'clock in the morning. Even when I go home, I still work. I don't sleep. Well, that's your problem, Believe. You can't sleep. The demons keep you up. Because I'm not the first person that you've done this to. Yeah, I've been around, I've heard some things. I wouldn't be surprised if I hear more after me finally sharing my story. Because you bullied so many other people into silence. Yeah. Okay. So he's on this whole rant about how he feels taken advantage of and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, I'm really confused. You said that you wanted to go do other things, that there was other projects that you want to do. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, I don't want to be the reason to hold you up. So if you want to go do that stuff, go do it. I'll be fine over here. And you said that either way I decide to go, you still support me because you're here because you believe in me and you're proud of me and I'm a bright young man and I have a great future. And you still have 25% of the business. So I didn't think you would just dip out like that. And so I'm really confused why you blew up on me this morning and got so mad when you're the one who said you wanted to go do other things. And again, you said you would still support me and be there for me and cheer me on, and you think I'm a bright young man, I have a bright future ahead of me, and I'm so smart and all this kind of stuff. I'm really confused right now. You know what he says? He goes, oh, I guess we just had a misunderstanding. You know, sometimes you have to have hard conversations in business, so let's just forget this ever happened, and, you know, this is our business. Like, nobody else needs to know our business. So I'm like, okay. It's like, yeah, for right now, let's just move on, business as usual. Like, we don't have to make a decision right now. You can take some more time to think about it, and let's just move on and forget this even happened. And I'm like,
Animal thinking.
Okay. Like, I'm so like, whoa. Like, what is going on? Now at this point, it's like my whole concept of reality and like life as I knew it is completely being shattered right now because I have never experienced something like this ever in my life. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know what to think. Like, I was just a young, ambitious kid trying to do something great. And now it's turned into all of this. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, this was honestly a traumatizing experience that I had to go to therapy for, you know? And so I'm trying to process this and everything that just went down. So over the next few days, I'm just processing because I'm like, what just happened? It's about to cut me off. I'm gonna go to the next part. Survive and Believe, part 6. All that just went down, and now we're just moving on per usual. But now, every single day when I come to work, I am anxious. I have anxiety every single time I see Believe. And this was my first time ever experiencing anxiety that I can remember. I don't have any recollection of any feelings of anxiety before up until this point in my life. Because again, this is my first time experiencing anything like this. And now it's like every single day. Every time I see you, I have anxiety. Every time you're around, the energy is just weird. And it was so bad to the point where I literally have my own office. But most of the time, I would go to a coffee shop up the street. Or sometimes I would even go back to my old college to do work because I just didn't want to be around him. If they still have the videos up, you could go back and see there was a period where I was making videos outside nonstop. I'm outside walking, making videos. Yeah, I was very uncomfortable and anxious around Bleep, so I was always going outside and away from him to get work done. And now, like, day by day is going by, I'm feeling all this anxiety that I never ever felt before, and I'm starting to question, like, was this all even worth it? At this point, my heart is kind of falling out of it a little bit, you know, and I'm just like wondering, like, what am I even doing here? Is this all even worth it? Like, growing up, I just always had this image in my mind that like being successful was everything, and that like if I just made it and I was successful, like all of life's problems would be solved and that would be great. And now I have all this success and I have worse problems. Like, I was pretty happy in my mom's garage just trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I'm also starting to feel more burnt out. Like, what was easy for me to do before is now becoming so hard. Like, I was making 3 videos every single day, and that was nothing to me in the beginning when I was all excited. And now it's like, feels like a chore. Like, I'm pushing myself to get these videos done. And so now I'm in this weird limbo state because I'm like, I have never felt like this in my life. I am not living, laughing, or loving right now. I'm just making money. And I don't even know if it's worth it because I'm literally not even happy. I'm so uncomfortable. I'm so anxious around you. And as the days go on, like, I'm questioning, like, was this all even worth it? And do I even still want to do this anymore? Now, this right here is alleged, so I can't say this is a fact, but I felt like in that moment, Believe saw that as a perfect opportunity to come back in and ask for 50%. And so sure enough, Believe goes, hey, let's talk. Like, let's have a little conversation about the business and whatnot, how we're going to move forward. And now Believe goes, all right, look, so I know we had a little rough conversation, difficult conversation before, but, you know, we can move forward better to revisit the conversation about us being 50-50 partners. If we do, I can take this off of your plate. I can take that off of your plate. I can take this off of your plate. I can take that off your plate. You won't have to worry about this anymore. I can do this too. I can also do that. I just need to know if I'm 50-50 in because I'm not taking any money out of the business because I would rather just leave it in the business so that the business can grow and thrive. I need to make sure that I'm getting a proper return on my time. And so I can take this off your plate. I can take that off your plate. I can start doing this. I can start doing that. I can do this. I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. If we do 50-50. Now, if we don't, again, it's fine. We can start getting things set up to where you take charge on a lot of these things and transition you into handling everything. But if we are 50-50 partners, these are the things that I can pick up and take off of your plate if that's what you want to do. So take some time to think about it again. Let me know. And again, at this point for the past few weeks, I'm pondering every day, like, was this even worth it? Like, I was just so much happier when I was just at my mom's house trying to make it, you know? And now, like, all this happened and I'm anxious every day. And, like, this is the cause of everything bad in my life right now. And I don't even know if this is worth it. Like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore, to be honest. So now I'm thinking about it and I'm like, dang, like if he stays, I'm not going to have to worry about hiring people, firing people, ordering stuff from our suppliers, following up with the suppliers, because that's another thing when you're doing business at a big level. it's a part of your job to make sure that they send you your stuff and send it on time, especially because you're spending a lot of money with them. So I'm thinking like, I'm not gonna have to worry about calling these people and chasing them down. I'm not gonna have to worry about if something happens down there. I'm not gonna have to worry about all the bookkeeping and trying to make sure the numbers are in place and all this kind of stuff. Because again, he's telling me like, yeah, if you take me on, if you let me have 50%, you're not gonna have to worry about that. And you're not gonna have to worry about this. And you're not gonna have to worry about that. And again, like I'm burnt out, anxious, questioning if I even want to do this. And that offer just sounded really good to me, you know, even though I know, like, I know, like I could go back and talk to little me, you know, but at that time it was just like, let's do it. That's really how it was. I was like, let's just do it. He's like, all right, yeah, that sounds good. You'll be able to focus on your creativity and all this kind of stuff and just really like bringing home the point that like I'll get to keep focusing on being creative and I'll get to keep focusing on my zone of genius and I'll have some more free time and all this stuff, right? So sure, whatever, fine, let's do it. At this time, I also want to mention too that my personal TikTok, if you scroll down, there was a period of time where my TikTok was going viral, like a bunch of videos. I made a cleaning video, went super viral. And then I was making like a bunch of lifestyle videos. And that was so fun for me. Like it was such a fun, creative outlet. It felt like bright again. It's like, I own this. Nobody's taking any of this. You know, it was just so fulfilling for me. And so I was like, man, I'll have more time to do that now. And I want to bring this part up right now because we're going to touch back on it on a later part. But around this time, I did a sponsorship with a very well-known shoe company. Let's just say that. Just remember the sponsorship with the shoe company because this caused so many issues down the line, but we'll get into it. So at this point, I'm getting a little smarter, not smart enough, clearly, because I just made the dumbest deal of my life. Well, the second dumbest deal of my life, but I was just like, hey, can we do a different attorney? Like, not your attorney. And so we go on Google, Lily in the office, we go on Google and we find a random attorney. Let's just call him Jeffrey. We find Jeffrey and we bring Jeffrey on as a company attorney. Jeffrey meets up with us. We draft the document in front of Jeffrey so that we are clear on what's going on. And then, boom, we sign it. Now we're 50-50. I'm going to do the next part right now because it's about to cut me off. Survive and Believe, Part 7. At this point, we're 50-50. He's covering all the logistics, HR, money, all that. I'm solely focused on marketing, branding, the creative, all that, right? But however, I guess now that he has 50%, he feels entitled to everything. And so now he has so much to say on all my ideas, so much to say on, oh, you should make this product next. We should do this product next. You need to make a video about this. You need to make a video about that. And now I'm feeling suffocated. Creatively, I feel suffocated. I'm sitting here like every single month, the business has been growing and growing and growing and growing month after month. Clearly what I'm doing is working. And now all of a sudden you have so much to say about what I'm doing. But I'm like, you know what? Let me just stay focused, keep doing what I got to do. This is what it is. So August, September, and October roll by and the business is just growing and growing and growing and growing. And now we get to November. November is here and Black Friday, Cyber Monday is coming up. That is one of the biggest events of the year for most businesses and especially online businesses. But then you add on the fact that we're in an industry that makes most of its money the last quarter of the year. October, November, and December is when this industry makes most of its money. And so for the business, November 25th was probably one of the most important days of the year. So November, we are working. I mean, around the clock, like a little bit of sleep, like nonstop work, because there's so much to be done to prepare for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And at this point, I don't even know how to feel about all this because I'm working myself nonstop, very little sleep, working around the clock, trying to get everything prepared for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I literally have no life because all I'm doing is sleeping and working. And I'm just kind of questioning, like, what is all this even for? And like, I was just realizing, like, my vision now has turned into your vision. I didn't want this. I didn't want a lot of this. The way that we do things over here, this is not what I wanted for myself or for my business. This is not what I saw before we partnered together. And somehow along the way, I lost my vision and now it's become yours. And like, I know people who have been through this can relate to this feeling so much, so deeply, but it started to feel like I'm doing all this for you. I feel like I'm literally working myself to the bone, no life, nonstop, all for you, because this is not what I want. Like, this is not what I saw for myself. And it really started to feel like when I would ask myself, like, what am I even doing this for? The only answer I could come up with is for you, for Believe. You know, like, this isn't even about purpose anymore. This isn't even about creativity anymore. I'm literally doing all this, working myself nonstop, no life for you, because this is what you want. Crazy how I looked up and it turned into your vision. I didn't have the wisdom to protect my vision that I do now. And so, unfortunately, this was a very hard and expensive lesson I had to learn. But yeah, every single day in November of 2021, I cried. Like, literally cried my eyes out every single day. Like, I'm telling you, there was not one day that went by in November 2021 that I was not crying. Like, man, I was just so much happier when I was back home at my mom's house. Like, I don't even know, like, how did I even end up here? Like, why? Like, what even? Like, I'm getting emotional now just recollecting that time. Me back then was just so distraught. Like, what did I do? Like, what have I done? Like, was this all even worth it? Like, I literally felt like I was like in jail or something and that there was no way out. Sometimes I literally would catch myself being like, maybe I should have never started this business. Like, there were certain moments where I was just like, what if I just got a regular job and just lived a regular life and didn't chase my dreams because I didn't know what was going to come with all this. You know, like, these were like serious like conversations that I was having with myself. Now I know that there was so many mistakes that I made. Like, chasing your dreams doesn't have to mean this, but also too, like, there were a lot of lessons that I needed to learn through going through all of this and getting through it, right? But at the time I was just feeling like, what have I done? And like, what even is this? So Black Friday, Cyber Monday comes up, a major success. We crossed $1 million. Woo! Now December comes around, and my birthday is December 16th. So we did a little birthday sale right before my birthday, and then boom, my birthday comes up. And this was a very pivotal moment in my growth as a person. So birthday sale goes up, it does decent, right? And then I'm like, hey, from my birthday on to the rest of the year, like, I need a break. Please just let me have the rest of the year off. Celebrate Christmas with my family, like, just let me have the rest of the year off. So boom, I'm taking a break for my birthday. This year I decided I wanted to do a birthday party. And so I invited all my friends and my family and my loved ones and everyone who loves me, right? And so we're all at my party and I have a like life-changing moment at my birthday party in 2021. Now remember, I was crying all November, miserable month, all November long, crying. I'm miserable. I feel like I'm in jail. I feel like I'm trapped in my own business. Day comes around and everybody who loves me is all in the same room and we're enjoying each other's company and having an amazing time. So many laughs, so many memories, so much love in the room. And I had a moment where, and I'm getting emotional talking about it, but I had a moment in that room where I was like, this is what's important. Like, this is what's important in life. I thought from my whole childhood up until now that being successful was everything. And once I got success, I would be fine. And then I was miserable. I was the most miserable I've ever been in my life. And then this one day comes by where everyone who loves me is just around me. And I was like, this is the happiest moment of this year. All the success, all the going viral, all the money made. My happiest moment of 2021 was my birthday party on December 18th, 2021. And that was a life-changing moment for me, honestly. Like, I realized there's so much more to life than just being successful, Kobe. Like, there's so much more to life than just making money. Like, having great people in your life, having a great support system, having an amazing family, and connecting with other human beings. And there is so much more to life, Kobe. Because up until this point, I just thought, like, if I get successful, then everything will be fine, and I'll be successful, and it's going to be great. My birthday party was life-changing for me to this day. Like, I will never forget my 23rd birthday party. So the rest of the year was great for me. I wasn't thinking about work. I was surrounded by loved ones. My mind is shifting. Like, I'm completely seeing the world differently now. I'm starting to feel so much more like compassion and empathy for people and genuine connections, and just so much is changing. So Christmas comes by, my favorite time of the year. It was amazing. And then New Year's is coming up. And I'm thinking about, what are my goals for this year? What do I want to do this year? Then we get to the New Year. So January comes around. I'm like, all right, I know it's time to get back to work. And y'all know the Sunday scaries for when people work 9 to 5 jobs. And then on Sunday, they're like getting anxious about coming back to work. I I felt that about coming back to work in January. So I was like, okay, here we go. Now, y'all, my anxiety is through the roof from January 1st on. Like, oh my God. It's about to cut me off. Survive and Believe Part 8. I just got off work and I want to try to get this series done by today, if not tomorrow. I don't work at my other job tonight, so I'm locked in. I do want to take a short amount of time to address some of the most frequently asked questions. First question, did me and Believe have an actual relationship? Hell no. The thought of that disgusts me. Next one, there were a lot more questions about my parents' involvement in this whole thing. My parents were consistently giving me advice, offering me advice, saying, hey, I don't know about this guy, I don't know about this guy, I don't know about that. But from my perspective, this guy has been nice to me. He's helped me make so much money. Like we've been successful. And so you know how like when a kid like you like, hey, don't go messing with that boy. He ain't no good for you. And then you go mess with him. Hey, don't hang around them friends. They're no good for you. And then you go find out yourself. That was this for me. It's like I know my parents care about me and they have my best interest, but at that time, I was too young and dumb to see that they knew something I didn't know. And a lot of times when kids start getting older, they don't listen. Take me, for example. Again, my parents are like, I don't trust this guy. I don't know about this guy. He's asking for more. That's greedy. He doesn't deserve that much. That's greedy. I don't know about this guy. And I'm like, well, y'all don't see how much work he does. Like, y'all don't see, like, he does so much. Like, he has done so much around here, you know? And my dad's like, Kobe, I'm trying to tell you, you could literally pay somebody to do the stuff that he's doing. Like, what he's doing is not grand. But I'm like, I just think you don't get it, Dad. Like, you're not here. Like, you're not here every day. You're not in the thick of it, you know? I was literally young and dumb. And even in the last part where I'm starting to feel anxious around him and I don't know how I feel about this anymore, I'm still like, well, we are half 50-50 in. I'm still scared to speak up for myself at this point. I really had to grow out of that. And there was a comment that nailed this perfectly, but somebody said my fear was louder than my faith. And man, oh man, was that the truth. Because even if I am like, okay, I don't think this is going to work anymore. How can we like figure something else out? I can't see myself mustering up the courage to have that conversation at this time. And then you add on back in April, I moved into my first apartment, you know, my dream apartment. And now I'm like, okay, well, if I wrote feathers, something happens, we're not making money no more. How am I going to afford to live? And then this is the biggest thing that's going to give context to everything that happens from this point on. Everybody told me don't go 50-50. My family, my mentors, everyone told me don't go 50-50, and I went 50-50. So now I'm not telling people much of anything that's going on at this point. Because I'm like, well, they told me don't do it, and I did it. So I guess I just got to live with it, you know, like that's how it was, you know, at the time. Last thing I wanted to add some context to, because I saw a comment where somebody was like, aren't your parents millionaires? And I'm like, whoa, I think I didn't communicate this clearly enough. So growing up, my parents had a successful company. So from the time I can remember until I was about 8-9 years old, parents were running a successful company. Everything's great. In 2008, when the economy crashed, the business tanked and we lost everything. We went from having this lavish life to losing everything. The business crumbled. We had to sell our house, family struggling, parents split up. Like, wow. It was a rough patch in our life. So yeah, I just wanted to add some extra context there, and now let's get into the rest of the story. So January comes around, we're back to work. My anxiety is still through the roof every single day. And it got to a point where I literally remember praying like, God, if I'm not supposed to be here anymore, please make it known. Like, please make it known to me. And it's so crazy because I saw a video on TikTok literally this morning that was like, when you're not supposed to be in a place any longer, God is going to make it so uncomfortable for you to get out. And man, oh man. So one day, I think it was early February of 2022, I'm praying this prayer like, God, if I'm not supposed to be here anymore, please show me. Sure enough, the next day, Bleep comes up to me. He goes, hey, I want to talk to you real quick. So like, how you feeling about everything? Like, I want to know, like, what are your thoughts? How you feeling? Whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And something in my spirit just said, just tell him. Up to this point, I was scared to express how I had been feeling. Like, I was so scared because I was so scared to speak up for myself. I was so scared to ruffle anybody's feathers. I was just so afraid to speak up for myself. And that is a recipe for disaster in business. Something took over me and I was like just spewing out how I felt. I don't have another way to describe like what caused me to all of a sudden just start spewing out everything. So I'm just telling him how I feel. And I'm like, honestly, like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. This isn't fun for me anymore. I have so much anxiety. Like, I really don't know, but we just cannot keep doing business how we've been doing. Like, something needs to change. Something needs to change, right? Now, remember, y'all, I did not say I want to leave. I don't want to do this anymore. When I was having this conversation with Believe, I said, we can't keep doing business how we've been doing it. Something needs to change. Believe keeps trying to manipulate me to think that I was the one who wanted to leave. That's what Believe told y'all too. So I'm telling him something needs to change. We can't keep doing business how we've been doing it. Like, I'm so burnt out. I have no life. This wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And I also was like, I'm not blaming you because, again, like I was afraid to speak up for myself with a lot of things. There are a lot of things I could have said sooner that I didn't about how I was feeling. And I just, kind of kept it to myself. And so I'm not blaming you, but I'm just letting you know something has to change. So Believe goes, all right, man, I hear you. Like, I understand. Why don't we bring on somebody to help you with marketing? Like let's bring a full-time employee to work in marketing with you. So that way it's not so much on your plate. So that way you have some time. You don't have to work so hard. And you also will have time to work on the other things that you want to do, right? And I was like, I don't know why we haven't been done this. Like, why haven't we been hired some more help up here in the upstairs suite, right? Because we had a full thing going on downstairs for the people making the products.
Yeah,
but upstairs, it was just me and him. And I'm like, I don't know why we haven't been hired some people. So I'm like, this sounds perfect. Please hire me a marketing assistant or something. Now, for the past couple of months, the business had contracted this girl. We're going to call her Trixie. I don't know if she wants her name in this or not, but we're still cool to this day. But we brought on Trixie to do our paid advertising. So we were contracting her to do our paid advertising. So Believe goes to Trixie and it's like, hey, Trixie, do you want a full-time job? Like, we need somebody full-time in here with marketing to help Kobe take a little bit of the load off of him because he is getting overwhelmed and feeling a little bit burnt out. Do you want a full-time position? So boom, we bring Trixie on board. And now, mind you, we had been working with Trixie on marketing stuff, just we were contracting her for a paid ad. So you know how when you see Instagram ads or Facebook ads, Trixie was doing ours. And Trixie was doing them very well. Like, I remember when we first brought Trixie on, Believe brought me in the office and was like, look, our numbers are up X amount because of Trixie. Her Google ads and whatnot, like, she knows what she's doing. She's like that. And so I'm like, great. So me and Trixie had been working together on marketing stuff, and me and Trixie were here with it. Like, we were on the same page. I trusted Trixie with my marketing and my creativity because she just always got it. Like, I would have a vision and Trixie would just get it. And so me and Trixie were like this little duo, right, for this little bit of time. Now, Trixie took a lot off my plate, so I was able to focus so much on just creating campaigns and coming up with ideas, right? And so because of that, I'm not at the office that much because I feel more comfortable creating these ideas when I'm at my own place or when I'm walking around my apartment. There's no need for me to be in the physical building. But again, somebody who doesn't appreciate creative work thinks I'm just slacking off and being lazy. And then it doesn't help at all to add the fact that my personal TikTok now is going viral and is booming. And so now Believe is thinking, oh, you just forgot about us and you're over there doing all that over there for your own stuff now. I'm still very much so working on this. I'm coming up with a campaign still and still launching products still. And, just because I'm not in the building doesn't mean I'm not working. But you don't get that at all because you want to control me. That's what you want to do. You want to be able to control every little thing I do. Now you're trying to make me feel bad for doing something outside of this. It's at 9:34 right now, so I'm going to just go to the next one and then continue. Survive and Believe, Part 9. So most days I'm working from home at this point because I feel more comfortable creating there. I'm communicating with Trixie at the office. We're getting a lot of work done. That's how business is going lately. So one day Believe called me, which I also want to add this. Believe always called. He would rarely text because he didn't want to have a paper trail. That's what I believe. Allegedly. He would always call me. It was to the point where I would text him and he would call me. And I'm like, why you can't just text me back and respond real quick? He would always call, right? So Believe calls me. He's like, hey, man, let's have a meeting. When can you stop by the warehouse so we can, have a meeting about some things? I'm like, I can come by today. So I go, and Believe is like, hey, so, we're going to have to give Trixie your salary because, she's doing all the work. Because, again, he thought I was just at home slacking off. She needs to get paid, and she's doing a lot of the work. She's here every day. She's really been working hard. We need to be able to give her a salary. And so you're still going to get your quarterly distributions, but we just need to give her your regular salary. I just came home because my phone kept overheating. Now, this was another extremely dumb mistake that I made, but at the time, I was like, well, it's not all about the money to me. Honestly, I don't really care about the money that much. Oh. As long as I'm making enough to pay my bills, it's whatever. No. And so when he said that and he said, yeah, I was still going to be getting my quarterly distributions were a lot of money. Like, every 3 months, I was getting a big paycheck. And so I was like, as long as I can still pay my bills, it's fine, whatever. Now, I'm not getting a regular paycheck every 2 weeks because we're giving that to Trixie, right? So a couple weeks go by and Believe gives me another call and it's like, hey, can you come by the warehouse? Like, we need to talk about some things. I want to catch you up on some things that are going on with the business. So I'm like, sure, I'll be by later. I come by to find out that Trixie was just fired. Gave her my salary, then fired her. Where's my salary? But I wasn't thinking like that at this time.
What?
Like I was really just
Believe
so
ass, I
like
ain't gonna lie.
clueless to a lot that was going
Oh my
on. And remember, at this point, I'm
Believe.
hesitant to tell my parents what's going on because I know they wouldn't approve of a lot of my decisions that I was making. So at this point, like they don't know any of this is happening while it's happening. They find out shortly afterwards because I tell them, but during this time, they don't know. So Believe is like, yeah, I had to let Trixie go. I talked to this guy who does paid ads, and he told us that like she didn't even have her stuff set up right. Like she wasn't even getting us results. Really, we're just wasting money on her, honestly. And I'm just like, that's interesting because when we first started working with her, you showed me the sales that she was bringing in. So I'm a little bit confused, but like, what happened? He goes, it's messy. It's just messy. It's
Can't
messy.
control her. That's what
It's just a
happened.
mess. It's just messy. So he would not tell me what happened. He just would say, it's just messy. So I'm
No.
like, okay, well, I guess if that's what we got to do, like, that's what we got to do.
Oh.
Don't y'all know I caught up with Trixie last year, 2023, and Trixie told me that she never got paid. I'm like, bro, you just needed an excuse to stop paying me. That's crazy. But again, during the time, I didn't see all this. I didn't understand all this. It was not registering in my brain. Trixie has a story too, for real. I don't know if she'll be comfortable telling it or if she wants to. That's her business. Y'all, Trixie got a story to tell. That man did Trixie so dirty. Trixie was literally like, first off, if I knew I was taking your pay, I would have never even came. But then the fact that I never even got paid is crazy. At this point, now I'm like, okay, well, now I'm not getting paid every 2 weeks. So I really need to focus more on my own social media and my own thing that's going on. So I'm still making videos here from time to time for the business, but not as much as I was before because I'm like, wait a minute. I want to get these big checks every 3 months, but I also need to make sure that I consistently have something flowing in. Insert the shoe deal. So I did this shoe deal. It was through this agency. They hooked me up with the shoe brand, and I did this shoe deal, and it was grand. It was great. It was fantastic. They were amazing to work with. But right before I did the shoe deal, that same agency that hooked me up with the shoe deal also did a deal with the business. The business did a deal with Facebook with this agency, and so they paid the business. And then when this same agency reached out to me personally to do the deal with the shoe brand, they paid the account that was on file, which happened to be the business's account because the business just did a deal with the same agency right before my personal shoe deal, right? So I say, hey, Believe, can you just check the bank account real quick because I got 2 payments from this company because one of them was for the business, but one of them were for me personally, like for my own thing that I did separately on my own personal stuff. They just sent it to the wrong account. So could you just send that to me? He goes, yeah, I got to check. Give me a minute. It takes forever to check. So finally, he checks the bank account. He says, yeah, we do have 2 payments from that company. I was like, well, one of those are mine. This is the amount that the shoe company paid me. So the payment that's for this amount, that's mine. He goes, oh, I got to see. I know stuff's been coming and going out of the bank account. So I just got to see. Give me a minute to look it over. So I'm like, okay. But in the back of my head, I'm like, that's mine. Like, I just told you. Both of these deals were for 2 separate amounts, and the one that's this amount is mine. Couple days go by, but I'm still trusting him because up until this point, he hasn't never not given me money that was mine. So I'm still trusting that he's gonna get it to me, but I'm just like starting to feel like, why are you like taking so long to send me the money? Like this is a little weird, honestly. So I asked Believe about the money again. He goes, all right, so because we're an S Corp, I can't just directly send you the money. You have to get a business set up and I can do it that way, like from business to business, but I can't just send you the money. So go ahead and get your business set up because I did need to get a business set up for my personal brand and everything like that. So he was like, go ahead and get that set up and then I can send you the money that way. So boom, I get it set up the next day. So I'm like, hey, Believe, I got the business set up. Like, can you send me the money now? He goes, oh, right now the business doesn't have the money. We don't have the money in the account right now. We're a little bit low on cash flow and our employees get paid tomorrow. So I just need to make sure we have the money to cover the essentials right now. I'll get you the money eventually. Right now, I'm not able to send that amount of money out right now. So I'm like, okay, cool. You got to do what's best for the business. Fine. You gave me a date, so I'm expecting it on that date. Here comes the part that I know all of y'all are about to hate. I hate it for me. I know y'all will too, but So another day, Believe calls me. He's like, hey, when can you stop by the warehouse? I need to have a conversation with you so we can talk about some things. I'm like, cool, I'll be there later today. I show up to the warehouse, right? Believe is like, all right, so he's like, taxes are coming up. And then he made taxes seem like this big, scary thing. He's like, you're a single man. You don't have any kids. You don't have any dependents. They're going to kill you in taxes. Like I think your tax bill is going to be insane. I'm like, it is what it is. Like, I'm a little nervous now because I'm like, whoa, this is my first time ever making this much money. I don't know how all this works. And I'm feeling a little bit like on edge, like I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. So like, can you guide me? Cause you've made this kind of money before, And again, I should have went to my family because they've made this kind of money before too. But I wasn't telling my family a lot of things because I made a decision that I know they weren't going to agree with. And so, yeah, I positioned myself at a big disadvantage. Like I said in the beginning, I made a lot of rookie mistakes that I would never make again. It's at 9:35 now, so I'm going to just go to the next part. Survive and Believe, part 10. So he's like, they're going to kill you in taxes. And I'm like, well, I guess like whatever it is, like you have to pay taxes, like I feel like this is a weird approach to tell me that, like, what am I going to do about it? Like, I just have to pay them. So can you just tell me, like, what does this process look like? Like, how does this work?
Quarterly.
And so he's like, I can talk to our accountant to figure out how much you owe. But if you don't own any of the company on paper, then you won't be responsible for so much. But you still get your pay that you're getting right now. Every 3 months, you get your payout from the profits from the business, right? So nothing changes for real. It's just on paper, you own 0%. And I'm like, honestly, like, I don't want to do no sketchy stuff. So please, like, don't be trying to sign me up for some sketchy avoiding taxes type thing, like I don't want none of that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to play with the IRS. Like, please just be honest and tell me, like, what do I need to do? Because this is the first time I've ever made this much money and I'm not sure what to do. He's like, well, that's just one part about it. But I also think too, like this year we're going to go into not launching so many products. So there's going to be a lot less work with the creative and the marketing and everything that you're going to have to do, which is going to give you more time to focus on other things you want to do. I know you were talking about going back to school. And at this time, like going back to school felt like at least I can make my parents proud. Like, I don't know why I was thinking like this, but I'm like, all right, I know they're going to be disappointed that I gave away 50%, but if I can go back to school and like get my degree, like I know they'll be so proud of me, right? This is my little old brain thinking I'm so smart,
You are already rich. That's what we go to school for.
Go back to school. And he's like, yeah, we can't even pay for your school. Like we can give you a scholarship. It will be a tax write-off for the business, give you a scholarship, and you can go to school for free, completely for free. The company can pay for your books. The company can pay for everything. Completely free. So I'm like, wow, like this kind of sounded good. Me back then is just like, I got an investment that's making me money every 3 months. I done did the work in the beginning and now I just enjoy the fruits of my labor. Like, this sounds good. So what do you think I did? I just wanted to verify, like, I'm still going to get my paycheck every 3 months, right? Like, I'm still going to get that. He's like, yeah, you'll be the face of the company forever. That's something that you can use while you're out networking. Like, that's in your portfolio now, right? So you can tell people, like, yeah, I've built this business and it's all successful and self-sustaining. And now, like, I'm out building the next thing. And this is how you build wealth. And I'm just like, sign me up. Naive little old me is like, sign me up, I just still haven't realized anything that was going on. And it didn't help that I kind of left all my support system in the cold about this because I was so in my head about I just made a decision that I know they're not going to agree with. And now this was the dumbest deal I made in my life. Well, he gets the lawyer to draft up a contract. I sign it. And next thing you know, now I own zero. But I'm still going to be getting my paycheck every 3 months. According to him, nothing's changed outside of just on paper. It says I own zero, right? So time goes on. It comes to March, right? I'm supposed to get my first paycheck, right? And he's like, yeah, well, we got to let the month end. And then the beginning of April, I'll look at the books and then, send out your distribution for the percentage of the profits, right, of the business, right? So I'm like, okay, so April comes around. Nothing. I'm like, okay, hey, like, what's going on? Where's the money? Like, you said I was going to be getting a paycheck every 3 months, and it's April now, and I haven't received anything. So he's like, oh, we just did a really big wholesale deal because this was when the company just got into stores. And so now stores are spending big money to put our products in their stores, but they do these orders on a net 60 pay term. So, for example, one store placed a $200,000 order, but they don't have to pay us that $200,000 until May, June. And so we have to put the money up front to supply the products, to ship the products out, to pay the employees, to make the products. All the costs are absorbed up front, and then 2 months later, they pay us, right? So he's like, yeah, we just did a big wholesale deal, so cash flow is really short right now. We don't really have a lot of money to work with. But once we get paid finally from that wholesale deal, I'll send you your money. And I was like, okay, and also, what about that $5,000 that you were supposed to send me? Like, can you go ahead and send me that now? He's like, again, we don't have the money right now. So once we do, like, once we get paid, I will have that money to you. I'll have it to you by May blank, whatever the date was. I don't remember the exact dates that he gave me, but he gave me several dates to expect the money. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll follow up then. Now, y'all, he shot himself in the foot, because if he would have just gave me my $5,000 that he was supposed to give me, I don't know that I would have woken up to what was actually going on. But what happened was the store paid for their wholesale order finally. We got the money on the date that he told me. So I followed up. I said, hey, like, what about that $5,000? Like, can you let me know, like, what's going on with that? And he goes, oh, I just had to spend a lot more money because they placed another order. So now we don't have the money. And at this point, I'm like, something's off. Like, I wouldn't do that. If I told you I was going to have money to you on this day, I'm going to have the money to you on this day. And if I'm telling you, hey, I get paid at this time, and this is when I'm going to have the money to you, my first priority before I do anything else with this money is to give you your money back. I'm like, something's fishy. Like, I don't know. Well, I called my boy Terry. He's a tax professional. And I said, Terry, I got a question for you.
What the hell was
So
Terry?
I gave him the situation about the $5,000 and went to the wrong account. And I was like, if you're an S corp, are you not allowed to send money that was wrongfully sent to you to another person because of being an S corp? You can only send it through a business. And Terry goes, no, that's not how that works. All you have to do is report in your books that this money came in, it's been rerouted to this place because it was wrongfully sent here. That's all you got to do. And you can send the money. So why do you ask me that? Like, what's going on? So then I explained that the money was wrongfully sent to the business, and my business partner told me that he can't send it to me because it has to be through a business and an S corp, whatever. Terry goes, that's bullshit. That's some bullshit. We're going to go to the next part now because it's about to come in. Survive and Believe, part 11. Terry just put me on game that all that BS that he told me was a lie. And one thing I learned from my dad, the worst thing you can do is lie to somebody. Because now that you lied to me, I'm like, what else did you lie to me about? So now I'm digging into everything that just happened, because up until this point, I was so oblivious. And I trusted him so much that I was just like, couldn't fathom that, like, wait, you would really do that to me? Like, I'm so like, what? I'm waking up, y'all. And it was all because he didn't send me the money from that shoe deal. If you would have sent me the money, I probably would have never woke up. But it was the fact that you lied to me, and then I found out you lied to me, and now I'm like, what else did you lie about? And y'all, I'm just pulling the pieces together. I'm reliving this whole past year, and I'm like, wait, so that was, you were trying, because why would you ask for 50 and then blow up on me? This was your plan all along. Like, I'm waking up, and I'm just like, you are evil. At this point, I'm a lot less active on TikTok, and people are asking, where's Kobe? Where's Kobe? Where's Kobe? So Believe calls me and is like, hey, Kobe, can you come in so we can figure out what we're going to say to the people? Because they're wondering, like, where you've been at. And, like, I just want to put out a statement because, you know, you have been in less of the videos and whatnot. And I just really think that we should, you know, let them know that, like, the business is still in good hands, and, you know, we're doing great. You're about to go back to school, and the business is going to pay for your school and all this kind of stuff. And we just need to make a statement saying, like, hey, this is where Kobe's been, and he's been busy doing other things, and he's all good. The business is all good, and blah, 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 blah. This was a moment that I was very proud of, because this is one of the first moments that I put my foot down and stepped up to him. I said, sure, I can come by the office to meet. Are you going to have my money? He goes, I already told you, like, we've had too many conversations about this money. I don't want any animosity between us. I've already told you the cash is low right now because, you know, these wholesale deals, but I'm going to get you your money. Like, I don't know. I don't want any problems about this. So I'm like, actually, let's actually meet up tomorrow. So I go to the warehouse. We sit down, and he's like, all right, so a couple things I wanted to talk to you about. First thing, that money, how much was it again? And then he pulls out a piece of paper and I'm like, $5,000. And he writes down 5,000 on the top of the paper. Like, you don't know how much money you owe me. He's like, the business hasn't had a lot of cash flow, but I can get you the money. I can definitely get you the money by this date. And so I'm like, can you really though? Because that's what you said the last time, and the last time, and the last time. And then originally you told me that you couldn't send it to me because I needed to set up a business for the S Corp. And I talked to a tax professional, and he told me that that wasn't true. All you have to do is record that on the books. And then I find out about Trixie and the stuff that's going on with her. You just said it was a mess, and I'm just really confused. Like, are you ever going to send me the money? And he goes, my mom just passed away, and it's just been a lot, and everyone around me just been taking. And I just give and give and give and give. And then he made up some other excuse for why he's been unethical with money. And I'm just like, well, if you do things right, you don't have these problems. And I'm like, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Until I have my money, I won't be making any more videos. And the conversation ended shortly after that. And I'm sure it was awkward for him as well because his newest intern was in the room watching this whole conversation go down. Now I'm like, I see you for exactly who you are. But for the next couple of months, I would regularly ask Believe about the money. And Believe would go, sorry, we just don't have the money right now. Like, the business is not doing too hot right now. The economy's changing, blah, blah, blah. So we don't have the money right now, but I'll get it to you on this date. And then that date would come by and I would ask again. And the same thing, we don't have the money right now. And at some point, I'm like, you wouldn't still be in it if the business wasn't making money. You're lying to me. At this point, I'm completely fed up. I'm like, I'm done with you. There's literally no point in talking to you. You're just going to keep lying to me and keep giving me this runaround. There is literally no point in talking to you. So at this point, I'm done. I'm like, if I'm talking to anybody, I'm talking to a lawyer. And remember how I said I got legal clearance to tell this story? Yeah, talk to the lawyer. And the lawyer's like, you're contractually obligated to one thing. You're not contractually obligated to Believe. Because there was a couple times where I was like, hey, I'm going to tell my story. People want to know where I'm at. And plus, my integrity feels so horrible knowing that people think they're still supporting me when they buy from this company. I feel like for integrity's sake, I need to let people know that you're not supporting me when you're supporting this business. Because guess what? Believe still out there telling people that I'm financially supported by this business. Guess when the last time I got paid from this business? January of 2022 was the last time I received any money at all from this business. When I was supposed to be receiving a paycheck every 3 months until next April 2025, I haven't received a single penny. Now at this point, my livelihood is completely shifted. People were asking what happened to the Camry. I couldn't afford it anymore. I wasn't making any money anymore. I had to go get a job, work to dig myself out of the hole I was in because I went from making this much money to this much money. And that shit was rough. But did I learn my lesson? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I learned my lesson. I learned a lot of lessons. Regarding this whole situation, I don't want to publicly disclose what I'm doing about this behind closed doors, but just know my support system is on it. In other news, y'all, God's timing is literally so insane, and there are certain things happening right now that I cannot wait to tell y'all about. Y'all are going to see just how blessed this month has been. Literally, I can't think of another word besides God's timing. Like, in due time, trust me, you all will know. In other news, I am so grateful for the impact that this story has had. I have had so many entrepreneurs and just people in general saying like, thank you so much for sharing your story. Like, I relate to this, or I needed this. And I know a lot of people have been saying that they would love to sit down with me and just pick my brain about business. And honestly, my mom told me I should do the same thing. And I think it's about time I started taking my parents' advice a little bit more,
Right.
Based off the demand and my mother's advice, I'm definitely going to be offering some type of consulting. I'm working out the logistics of how I'm going to do that now, but it will make my heart so happy knowing that I'm able to help other entrepreneurs, other dreamers, and just creatives in general to protect their own stuff. Like, that would make me so happy. So it is an honor to be able to offer that to people. And I guess I just didn't realize the gift of this knowledge that I have right in my hands. So I also noticed all the comments about the hair. And guys, I have been working on starting my own hair care line for months. If you go to the TikTok page or Instagram, OB Hair, you'll find me. For a period of time, I was documenting starting my hair care, but then I had to pick up another job and life got hectic and I didn't have the time. But now my mom and my dad were like, baby, you need to get this hair care line started. Like, it's time. People are ready to support you. And luckily, I've been working on it for the past couple of months, so I have formulas. My mom was like, you just say the word, how much money you need, and let's get this thing started. So OB Hair will be coming soon as well. Is Surviving Believe. Thank you so much for watching. I feel so incredibly blessed and proud to have put fear aside, stood up for myself, spoke my truth, and for it to be so well received. I thank you so much. This has been Surviving Believe.
Listen, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I'm pretty sure you've gotten a boatload of gems from this video. This video taught me a lot. Survive and Believe is more than just survive and believe. It's surviving the corporate world in general. These entrepreneurs will come and try to steal your ideas. And this man manipulated him from the very beginning, knowing that he was a young entrepreneur with a lot of potential ahead of him. If I take anything from this, it's the one, put God first, always. And what he has for you is for you. And you don't need to secondly, you don't need to give away your equity in a company. You can give away a salary. You don't have to give away equity. Because I know a lot of us be talking about, like, he was talking about the fruit thing. You better have half a watermelon than half a grape. Yeah, but we take that concept and we think that means giving away equity. No, that means hiring people, bringing in a team of people to help you run and function, your business. I'm glad that at the end of the video, it actually started to come full circle and it wasn't just all disaster. It seems like he's in court right now and fighting this battle with Believe. And the fact that Believe tried to tell him, whatever his real name is, the fact that Believe tried to tell him that he only owns 0% on paper, that, man, almost scratched my face off listening to that part. Because I know right then and there, Believe just took his company right there. That's when Believe took his company. So if y'all didn't understand which part when Believe took his company, because he never said it, that's when Believe took his company. When he had that man commit or sign a paper saying that he owns 0%. Now, I knew that was cap because I filed quarterly taxes, and he said that something about the taxes and that, it won't be as much if you had 0% on paper. What? What is we talking about? What does my salary out of the company has to do with the company taxes if we already have an accountant that's taking the taxes out of every big check we get and putting it in a tax account? See, his mistake, because he was young, he didn't understand the banking side of it. He didn't understand the business side of it. He just wanted to be creative. And I wish I could run into somebody like this. And because people take advantage of people like this, but you can go so much further if you didn't. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard to be creative. Do you understand? That's the hard part. Understanding the analytics and all that other BS, it's hard. It's a lot. It's a lot mentally. But if you love numbers, it's easy. I love numbers, so that stuff easy. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I would say that it's easy to find somebody to fill that position because he didn't want to focus on those things. He just wanted to be creative. He had an idea, he had a product that he was selling that he really believed in, and he just wanted to focus on that product. He didn't want to focus on employees and inventories and, just everything that comes, the order of operations. He didn't want to worry about the operational part of it. He just wanted to worry about the creative part, which made sense. But, what do you guys think about this? I can go on and on about this, but at the end of the day, he's working on it. It might come full circle. I will be staying up to date to see what's going on with this because I am truly interested in what's going on with this, like for real. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Have you ever been in a situation like this? And what advice could you give anybody else that may have, been in this situation as well? Let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to follow him. Follow him. Support him. He deserves it. I forgot a very important part, but since you watched it to the end, I'm going to reward y'all. This is the name of the company. Now, he can't say the name of the company, but... You see, they took down all the videos. There's no videos up. This post that they have right here is just talking about pretty much that they're in court and that they can't address anything that's going on. I'm not about to read all that BS. At the end of the day, they took down all those candle videos once this man's video started to go up. And I just got a feeling now that it's on this page, it's about to go crazier. And they're going to have even more issues because there's a lot of people in those comment sections. But yeah, don't support them, y'all, because supporting them is not supporting him. And he started this. So, and the fact that they took down all these videos is just suspicious as fuck. I'm not even going to click that link and watch a video on their YouTube channel. They don't deserve it.